Hello and welcome to another Demon 212 PSP mini review. Today I'm going to be taking a look at Hero of Sparta, which if you've never played it before, it's basically a God of War clone. It's an action game. Options are bare bones minimum, no point showing them. You've got new game or continue, so I'm just going to go into continue here to show some of the later footage off, because it is, as I say, just like a God of War style game, so you don't start off with all the best kit. You have to get it as you go along, and you can upgrade weapons as well, so at least I'll be able to show a couple of things off with this. But basically, as I have said a few times, it is just basically a God of War clone. The whole point is you are a hero going around kicking the crap out of mythical monsters like Medusas and, you know, Minotaurs and just basically stuff like that, usual Greek mythology things. And the whole point is kick the crap out of them, get to the end of the level, and, well, do it all again. Every now and then you'll get a big boss, and it plays again just like God of War, where it comes up action buttons and you have to hit like X in a certain time or square, etc. to get the boss killed. You can also do that on a few of the it feels wrong to say sub-boss creatures, but I suppose that's really what they are, because they're harder than your normal creatures, but they're not as hard as a boss. But you can still do that to get yourself a bit of extra, like, orbs and that, because, again, it really is just a 100% rip-off of God of War, but that doesn't make it a bad game. It's actually one of my all-time favourite iPod apps. I played it all the time, loved it, and I couldn't wait until it came out with a proper control system. Unfortunately, in porting it over, they've made one of the worst port jobs I've ever seen in the history of porting. The hit detection's terrible. It is really hard to just concentrate long enough to actually hit an enemy. It's something that never happened on the iPod version, and it's something that's really annoyed me that it happens on this one, because I honestly thought adding an analog control and adding button control would make the game better, and they've actually made it worse. The buttons aren't that responsive. I don't know how buttons are less responsive than a touchscreen, but they've managed to do that in porting it over. They've managed to make it so that on some levels you can't even actually face your enemies to attack them. So you have to swap to this weapon here, which has a blast radius almost by slamming it down into the floor, and you do a 360-degree radius with it, so you can attack enemies behind you as well, like that. And it's just one of those. I don't know what the hell they were thinking when they were doing the port, but it wasn't that they wanted to port a quality game into an even better game. But even the analog movement itself also feels incredibly stiff at times, and just feels like you're walking in a direction that you're not actually holding. So, suffice to say, if you do have any interest in this at all, it's one of those, you have to take the game with a grain of salt and try not to slag it off too much saying it's utter crap, because it's not the game's fault. The game is a fantastic game, if you play the right version. But anyway, to mention a few of the other things you can do, you might have noticed the top left corner you've got a red sphere, which is basically, that fills up and brings up numbers of how many red balls you've got, and you use them to upgrade your weapons. You've got the blue bar, which is your mana, which is your power attacks and that, which you might have saw us do, and I'll do another one here, and there you go. You've got your green, which is your energy, and you've got a handful of levels, so the game will last you a couple of hours, but nothing much more than that. The only reason it's going to last you longer on the mini is, again, as I keep saying, because they've done a really bad job with porting it, and some sections are made unnecessarily hard, and it's purely because of the fact that you can't face your enemies. So, pretty much all that's left to say is, graphically they've done a pretty good job porting that over, because it did look good on the iPod, and now it looks even better on the PSP, and musically, it sounds okay, so I'll leave you with a little bit of music. So there we go then, that's been the review. I hope you've enjoyed it, or at least found it helpful. You might have noticed I didn't score the game. Well, that's because it's a matter of personal opinion, and yours may very well differ from my own. I'm just here to show you a bit about the game. If you like it or not, well, that's up to you. If you don't like it, or you do like it, feel free to comment. Also, if I haven't answered any of your questions that you may have had, I might have forgot something, or it might just be something obscure. Again, feel free to comment, ask, always willing to help out. Otherwise, if you don't like commenting on YouTube, head over to www.vc-forums.com, where you can chat with me and a bunch of other lads who love the VC, the WiiWare, and hell, even a lot of other systems. We cater to pretty much everything. You can just go there, have a chat about a game, ask about some games, etc. So until next time, this has been Demon212, signing off.